Hello friends, welcome to C# Intermediate to Advanced tutorial. Now you are watching the final part of the PictureBox Control video. Here we will create the example. So in the past video we looked about the form design. I hope by this time you have your form design ready. Now we will write the code behind for this example. So you can see the size mode link label controls here. Now we will handle the event for these link label controls. So the event is link clicked. So this link clicked event will rise whenever user clicks these links in the link label. So inside, if you see PictureBox size mode dot normal. So these constants we already saw in the form design. During the mock form design, we explored all the properties. So normal is this one. Then stretch mode, auto size, center image, as well as zoom. So all this stuff you can access from this PictureBox size mode constant. Alright, so if you see, this is the constant and we are assigning this constant to PICT. PICT is this PictureBox control. We named it as a PICT. Then we are accessing the size mode property. And then we are assigning this constant to this size mode property. Once you do this, what happens? The picture box or the content is the picture, will get resized according to the property. Since we explored this property, we no need to explore much here. When we run the example, that time we can click each this property and we can examine once again. Then so this one is for the link label control. So we set link visited to true so that it will change the color. This one we already saw in the previous video. I mean in the previous video series about the link label control. So in this picture you can see the link visited here is a stretch mode. So to make such a change, we are making call to link visited to true. So here if you see, we handled this link visited, I mean the link clicked for only the LBL normal. So when we are going to the demo, that time we will handle the event for all 5 controls. So now if you see, this portion is done now. Now we will load the image from local resource. That means we are going to handle this button click event. And during this button click event, we will also examine whether we are loading the image from normal or we are loading it from the we are loading the image as normal or we are loading it as asynchronous. As already told, normal mode means when we are loading the image, the method will wait, the load method will wait for the pixel transfer to complete. So before that, first let us look at the code. And if you see, at present we are handling this load local click event. That means we will be loading the picture from the local resource. So this double dot specifies the relative path. Suppose if our example is running from C drive temp then debug bin, let's say abc.exe. So we are saying that go 2 level above from bin to debug and debug to temp. Then inside the temp you find the winter.jpg. So here we are actually loading the winter.jpg image and we specified the relative path. Relative path in the sense path relative to the exe from where you have to jump 2 levels behind and find JPEG, winter.jpg. You can use relative path, or even you can use the absolute path also. That means you can specify C, for example, temp, then some XYZ folder, and inside that winter.jpg. You can specify like this also. And when RAD normal, so this one is the RAD normal, when user checked this, then we land up here. Otherwise we will go here. So when user clicked normal, we make use of the load function call on the PictureBox control. PICT is the name of this PictureBox. PICT.load. Here if you see, we are accessing the method, and to that method we are passing the path to the image file location. Since this is the load method, once the call comes here, so first it checks whether radio button is clicked. I mean normal radio button is clicked. If that is the case, then control is transferred here. So the control will stay here, I mean the execution control, so the controls will stay here till the complete pixels are loaded from the path to this PictureBox control. Then PictureBox will display the image and control resumes, I mean the execution control resumes. But in case of LoadAsync, this will initiate the process of loading the image, and the execution control resumes immediately. So that means your application becomes responsive when the image is loading here. That means you can move the control, or you can, if there is any other operation, you can perform that while the image pixels are loading into the control. So this LoadAsync is useful if you are transferring a huge image from network resource that usually takes time to load. So during that time, user can perform some other operation. So that's all here for the load local. Here if you see, we are loading the image from the local resource, that means from this present computer itself. You can also load the image from internet location also. So when a user clicks this button, we once again check whether we want to load the image as normal or asynchronous. Instead of specifying the local image path here, if you see, for the load method, we can also specify the internet location. So we specify HTTPS, that means secured. We make use of secure socket layer. Then we specify the web address.com, then the path. After that we specify the image location. So this image is not here in the local machine, it is from the internet. So once again we check the radio button. If it is normal, we make a call to load. So here we are loading it as synchronously. Synchronous means the load will wait till it complete. In load asynchronous, after the call we immediately resume from this function call. And at the same time, since the execution is resumed and it is not blocking here, you can perform other tasks while image load is under progress. Right. So when we use the load or load asynchronous from the internet location, and if this image file is huge, then the image transfer will make some time. So during that time, if you want to show some progress, we can make use of this control. So the progress control as well as the label beside the progress control. Now let's handle the event for that progress control. So once you make a call to load or load async, that will produce a load progress changed event. Whether it is local resource or internet resource, the call to load internally will report this progress changed event. So the load method is the Microsoft call, API call, Inside, they will periodically report to load progress changed. So that means here you can write a code to make use of this raised event. You will receive the progress changed event. So this is the one we will use to know how much of image pixel is transferred. If you see here, the object we are receiving here is E, and here we are making use of load progress, the progress percentage. So the progress percentage will retrieve a integer value, and we are directly assigning that to the progress control. So this is the progress control. We named it as prog.load status, and we are accessing its value property and assigning the value, and the value we are taking it from the progress changed event argument. From here we make call to e.progress percentage. That means 0% it is starting, then it is progressing. After that, when it is finished, we will get 100%. So percent will not be here, it will just return the number 0 to 100. So that's the number it will return. From there we can decide the progress percentage. Alright, this will update our progress bar control, and we have to update this label also here. So to do that, LBL progress, that's the name we gave it, and we kept autosys also true. So LBL progress.text equal to e.progress percentage. So it returns integer, right? So we are making call to toString, we are converting it to string, then we are appending a percentage to that. So that's how you are seeing 76% here. Alright, now it is demo time. We will go ahead and handle all the events. So this is the form design, and in your case it may not be the same. You no need to worry about if the control names are if correct controls are there, then you can start coding it. You can refer the code snippet that is attached in the description of the video. That will land you to the Google document. From there you can take the code snippet. So first I am clicking the normal button, then I am choosing properties. I am pinning it here. So next, so this is the event. Click on this, then double click here in the link click, so that will handle the link clicked for the normal label. So we have to do this for other link label controls as well. So in the slide you saw that we implemented the progress changer for normal. The code will be same for other control also. Alright, now we will go ahead and implement the progress changed. Okay, let's change this. First we implement the normal link clicked. Here we set our PictureBox size mode as normal. Then we are setting link visited as true. The same way we have to write other piece of code. As you can see, we are just accessing this constant, and we are making use of those constant and assigning it to the size mode property. So see, these are all the constant. Okay, we have done coding for this one for the link label control, and we already assigned a property, image property for this one. Here we use the sunset image. You can take any image and make use of that image. And if you see, when we are loading the form, that time itself the image is loaded. And during the form load itself, this image is loaded. Why? Because we already set the image property. Now we can examine this size mode with the default image. So we haven't yet added code for this, but since we have the default image, we can make use of this. So if you click normal, so this by default normal is displayed. Now I am going to stretch the image, and you can see the entire image is stretched here in the PictureBox control. When I use auto size, the PictureBox control is resized, and if I maximize it, you can see the complete image is now displayed. Well, because the PictureBox control is resized. When I restore, this is our original form size, and since the control is resized beyond the form size, let me launch it again with the default size. And it's the center image, right? Sorry, auto size. Yeah, so since the picture control is resized and the form is not resized, so the picture control goes beyond this form. That's why you are seeing a portion of the image here. Alright, now we will use the center image, and you can see only the portion of the image is displayed. All this stuff we already examined during our mock design. The same thing is happening at runtime now. So that's the difference. Now we will add code for this load local stuff. So now we are switching to the design view. And then we are double clicking this load local. By default, it will go for click event. And here we are making use of the load method. So the load method or LoadAsync both will take a string URL. Here we are specifying the local location. So this one is the relative path, and if you see, our exe is produced here at this location. G drive, temp, PictureBox, bin, debug. That's where our exe is. So when we run the execution or working directory of this exe is this one. So from this working directory, we are asking it to move 2 level above. That means 1 level above and 2 level above. And you can see the winter.jpg is available here. So that's where we are loading it. So this is a relative path, and I mean this dot is the relative path. You can also use the absolute path, so that tells where the image is. Alright, so this is load method, and this one is the LoadAsync method. Now we will examine this piece of code. So normal is selected and I'm clicking load local. You can see the images get loaded. Since it's a local resource, the load was fast, and if you use load asynchronous, here also the image will get loaded, but the call will return immediately. This will be the blocking call, this load, but load async will return immediately even if the load takes time. So I clicked asynchronous, so we can load this way also. Now we will go ahead and implement load from internet. So the method is same for load internet button click also. The only difference is instead of specifying the local path, here we specified the internet location. So you can examine any internet location which contains a huge file. So you can go to Google and find an image. There itself you can decide the size of the image, and to mimic you can pick a bigger image, so the load will take time. Alright, now we will examine this. Now I'm clicking the load from internet, and if I try to move the form, it is not. Maybe you have to repeat the video, rewatch from the previous seconds. So after clicking that load from internet, I started shaking the mouse cursor by clicking it. That means I tried to move it, but it doesn't respond. But once the image is loaded, then it started responding. Now let's do the same step with asynchronous. So now we will switch back to the image from our local resource, load local. Then this time I will load it asynchronously. After clicking this, I will immediately move my cursor by holding the left button. That means I just want to move this form after clicking the load from internet. Let's try that. See, I can able to move my mouse. Why? Because the call here returned immediately, so that the form is responding to the other events that is happening to it. The other event here, in the sense, I just tried moving the form and the form responded. Alright, so if I click load local, it loads immediately, but when I go for load from internet, it takes some 2 to 3 seconds. You see? So now let's show that load progress in this progress bar by implementing the progress changed event of the PictureBox control. Let's go to our form design. Now the progress changed event will be raised by the PictureBox control. Why? Because so it's hooked to the load event, and the load event will report the progress changed, and the load load event in the sense the load method call. So the load method call is a PictureBox controls method. So I'm clicking the picture box, then bringing up the properties window, going to the event, then so event raised when progress is reported during loading into PictureBox. So when load happens, this event will be called repeatedly. Load completed is called once, so when every pixel is transferred, but this is the one which will report periodically. So since we want to report the progress, so we picked the progress changed, not the load completed, load progress changed. Now we are double clicking here. So if you see here, it reports a progress changed event argument E. we are making use of its method and function. And if you see here, it gives a progress percentage. This progress percentage is actually an integer. This integer gets the asynchronous task progress percentage. So how many bit pixel transferred from this internet location or even the local resource. So it works for both. Alright, now we will examine this. So here, progress load status dot value equal to e dot progress percentage. So we already explored this in the slide, so we will directly go and run it. So our example is now ready or completed. To actually see the progress change, let's pick the load from internet. It may take time, and you can see the progress complete. So you can see how the progress is working. So now we are in the asynchronous mode. Load local will be fast, and asynchronous will take some time. That's all here. We are done with the demo. Thank you for watching. Bye. We will meet you in the next advanced video series of this show.